Welcome to a special edition of Get In NBA Finals Edition. We have some very fun stuff in store for you today, including an exclusive interview with the mayor of Oklahoma City, Mayor David Holt. I don't know how this quite ended up happening. I saw his op-ed in the Indy Star. I reached out. He was super responsive. So we're just going to talk a little bit about some similarities, some differences between Oklahoma City, between Indianapolis. Whole kind of dynamic started on their end back in like 1991 when they lost out on a United Airlines contract. It's a super fascinating story. We talked for 25 minutes or so. If you're going out to Game 5, this is super important. He gives some recommendations to eat while you're out there. And obviously, I had to rep the Pacers. So I hope you enjoyed this interview with Mayor David Holt. We have a couple fun segments for you today. We've come to the segment where Shane is taking on the Indiana master when it comes to naming towns, counties, mascots, all the things. Shane believes that he might know a thing or two about Indiana.
Not mascots.
We're gonna do counties. So 45 seconds will be on the clock. Shane has to name as many counties as he can in 45 seconds.
I want to get to double digits.
All right, his goal is to get to 11. 45 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Marion, Hamilton, Hendricks, Shelby, Porter, Lake, Elkhart, Brown, Green. Oh no. Hit a wall. Kosciuszko? It's a weird one. Kosciusko. I spelled it. That counts. What else is up in that neck of the woods? Napanee. Napanee borders two of them. Maybe it's in Porter. It's in Porter. This is so hard. I need one more. How many seconds?
2.
Oh, no. Can't get it.
Brother.
Kosciuszko.
And Napanee is in Elkhart County on the border of Kosciuszko, and
yes.
Marshall is the third one that's up there.
Okay.
Do we think I can get 4 times as many?
I know there's 92.
92 counties.
Yeah, I got that.
Dude, 40 and 45 would be nuts. That'd be crazy. I think we're gonna go for 30. 3, 2, 1, go. Lake, Porter, Kosciuszko, St. Joseph, Elkhart, LaGrange, Marshall, Miami, Tippecanoe, Monroe, Madison, Marion, Hamilton, Boone, Henry, Hendricks, Johnson, Jackson, Harrison, Washington, Davies, Green, Martin, Allen, Wells, Newton, Adams, Randolph, Vigo, Putnam, Montgomery, Crawford, Lawrence, 33.
Well, you started ripping presidents' names.
How many of the U.S. presidents are Indiana counties? How many in a row do you think it goes to?
9.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, back to Adams, Jackson. 7 in a row. And then we get to Van Buren. There's no Van Buren County, but there's Van Buren Township, Johnson County, Grant County, 11 presidents, Indiana counties named after
How
presidents.
are any of the more recent ones supposed to get a county? Everything's claimed.
I mean, Reagan County? Come on.
Yeah.
It would be beloved by everyone. Reagan County. Here's a petition, Mr. Braun. How about you set aside some space for Reagan County? We've come to the end of this week's Try to Stump the Master when it comes to things Indiana. Shane got
33-10 was the final score.
To be
we'll get better.
Hey, it's all about just getting better. Stay tuned next time. I think we're going to take on towns.
As we go into Game 4, you and I both know it is really critical to our teams. But that's what's fun about this. 7-game series, and I still feel like sometimes our fan base in Oklahoma City is still relearning what that's like. Because we didn't go to the playoffs for like 5 years, and then we didn't win a series between 16 and 24. So to actually go through the excruciating emotions of a 7-game series is something you have to condition yourself to. And it is so easy for people to swing wildly back and forth because every game oftentimes kind of appears to completely shift the momentum to one team or the other. Now that's a fan's experience. You hope to God you actually have a team of players who aren't paying attention to any of that stuff. But from a fan's perspective, these 7-game series can be nuts, and I would hope that our fans having already lived through the Nugget series earlier this playoff run, like sort of know how this can go, right? And this is actually this game, this series so far in its first three games has exactly matched the rhythm of the Thunder Nugget series earlier this playoffs. So we've been here before as a fandom. We'll see. Again, everybody watching this knows what happened in Game 4, and they know that one of us is a lot happier than the other one. But
Yeah,
it's been a
exactly.
great series. It's been a lot of fun so far, and of course, it may
Ha-
only be halfway done.
did you go to the 2 home games?
Of course, yes. I mean,
Yeah,
like
I
that's my
love that.
civic duty. Like, yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
no way. I have not
I'm
missed a home playoff game the whole run.
Oh, heck yeah. We were at like a local bar for the first one, and then I'm going tonight to game 4. So hopefully I'm jazzed up. I do want to take a minute. Like, this is not just the basketball podcast. This is like the Get In podcast where we talk all things Indiana. And
Mhm,
again, like I kind of reiterated earlier on in the show, this whole thing started from your op-ed that made it into the Indy Star. And I remember like
mhm.
scrolling through and seeing it, and I was just like, as I started to read it, I was taken aback because going into a very competitive NBA finals, you would think it's like, I'm like, oh man, did this guy take out an ad to like trash talk our city? Like, what's going on? Like, you go in there a little fired up, like angry, not angry, but like expecting to be mad. And I came out of it like, oh shoot, dude, like this is a really genuine and kind thing to say. And this all kind of trickles back to what is it, 1993 metropolitan area projects. Like
Yeah.
this whole
Well,
thing that happened in Oklahoma City back in 93.
to tell your listeners the premise of the op-ed that you're referencing, leading up to this, as it appeared the Pacers were going to be the opponents in the NBA Finals. And for us, making it to the NBA Finals feels like a history-making thing. We're not there. We don't have 17 championships like the Celtics, right? So I mean, like, so it takes on all this added meaning. And so as this was approaching, people would come up to me and say, isn't that crazy? Like that we're going to play Indianapolis, considering our history. And of course, I'm very familiar with that history, but it occurred to me as the series approached that the people of Indianapolis might not be aware of that history because it was probably more meaningful to us than it was to Indianapolis, especially the way it all turned out on
Isn't that
Indianapolis.
funny? That sometimes like the best lessons come after like defeat versus victory.
Right. So there was this United Airlines maintenance facility. It was supposed to have, by different accounts, 6,000, 7,000 jobs. That's an insane number of jobs. Like as a mayor today, if I'm chasing something that has 1,000 jobs, that's like a huge deal. So like I can't even fathom 6 or 7,000 jobs. And think of it in a city like in Oklahoma City, we were like half the size back then. So it's even more impactful. So this was kind of analogous, I think, in terms of the scale and the public spectacle of it to what people may think of in more recent years as the Amazon 2 battle between cities to try to get like the second Amazon headquarters. So in 1991, Indy and OKC were finalists for this opportunity. And I mean, here in OKC, we had a vote of the people to create a sales tax to incentivize this. That's how big a deal it was. And so it went to Indianapolis and instead. And of course, Indy doesn't have oceans or mountains, but has other charms. But we needed to learn about those charms and better understand them because to us, from our perspective, it might have seemed like, hey, what's the big difference between these two inland landlocked cities? And so our mayor actually traveled to Indianapolis after that defeat in 1991. And he saw a vibrant downtown and he saw a city with two major league professional sports teams. And, in OKC in 1991, we didn't have any major league professional sports teams. We had one downtown hotel. I mean, our downtown was completely dead. That really was the catalyst. That defeat to Indianapolis was the catalyst that caused him to introduce to the voters in 1993 what we now know locally very well as the MAPS initiative. MAPS, Metropolitan Area Projects. It's generally a 1 cent temporary sales tax that builds a collection of quality of life projects. And by quality of life, I mean things that aren't street resurfacing and drainage and police stations, but things like arenas and stadiums and parks. And most of it in the first iteration of it in 1993 was downtown. It was entertainment related. And as it turned out, it planted the seeds for a lot of sports centric success later. And so MAPS passed, but barely, 53%. And the project started opening a few years later. And then I should also add, I was part of a delegation to Indianapolis in 2006. There was like 100 civic leaders who went to Indy, and we toured all of your sports venues, including, of course, your arena. And this was 2 years before we got the Thunder. So you look at us today, and we've got like 30 downtown hotels, and we're the 20th largest city in the United States and the lowest unemployment, and we're in the NBA Finals. And we've also especially leverage sports. We've also got the Women's College World Series. We've got 7 events of the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics coming here. All of these things have happened over the last 30 years. And the point of the op-ed was sort of to say, like, hey, not sure any of this would have happened if we hadn't lost to Indianapolis in 1991 and then subsequently learned from Indianapolis. So, I mean, Indy was first our foil, but then our inspiration. And so for us, it's a bit poetic that one of these sort of history-making moments on the court that we're playing Indianapolis because from our perspective, we've always been sort of linked over the decades.
Well, that's super cool. And I think a lot of our listener base won't have that appreciation for what that means to you all in Oklahoma City. What I think is interesting is like the first maps, that patch you said 53%, but then
Mhm.
more recently, it just got extended through 2034, and that was 71%. So, right, like
Yeah.
voter, I think we read
Well,
that.
yeah. Well, a couple things have I've run since I became mayor. One was maps 4. So now we number them like a movie series. So now we're on the 4th iteration, maps 4, and it passed in 2019 with 72%, and it has 16 projects. Sports is in there. I mean, like there's a new like soccer stadium in maps 4. However, what you're referencing is in 2023 our original lease with the Thunder was expiring, and so we're taking that same sales tax penny. Now it's not really, we don't call it maps because it's just one subject. It's just the arena, but we also voted with 71% a 6-year 1 cent sales tax that'll take effect after maps 4. That's going to build $1 billion arena in downtown Oklahoma City. That also has secured for us a 25-year commitment to play in that arena from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we've secured the Thunder for another generation, and also we're going to have a heck of an arena. Like I'm really excited that we're finally bringing like a real NBA level budget to our arena, and I'm excited to see that roll out over the next 3 years.
Hey Hoosiers, let me tell you about Keller & Keller, a respected Indiana-based law firm that's here for all of us, from Evansville up to South Bend. They've been serving Hoosiers since 1936, and they really know what it means to fight for the community. These guys have recovered over $1 billion for their clients. Yes, that's billion with a B. That's a serious track record of getting results. And here's something that should really make your wallet feel good. They have a 0-fee guarantee. That means you don't pay a dime unless they win your case. Talk about peace of mind when you're hiring a lawyer. So if you've been injured here in the Hoosier State, don't hesitate to call 1-800-2-KELLER to get the support and guidance you need. They mean business. Now let's get back into the episode. This was 2008 when Oklahoma City got the Thunder, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What has having a professional sports team in Oklahoma City meant for you all?
I often say that in America, having a major league team, either in MLB, NFL, or NBA, is the closest thing that America has to bestowing a blue ribbon on its top cities. And your first one is the one that like elevates you into a new tier, into a whole new discussion. I mean, people just look at you differently, talk about you differently, they think of you differently. It is a shorthand way of saying like we're a city that matters. And I mentioned we're the 20th largest city, but we're the 42nd largest market. We fall down the rankings when you throw in our suburbs. So obviously market is what matters to professional sports because they just care about how many people live in the general area and could buy tickets and watch our games. And so 42nd in a market, in a sport where there's 30 teams is like going to be on the bubble, like you're not likely to have a team if you don't do something a little extra. And that's why we approved our arena and did so with such an overwhelming margin because people here haven't had a team so long that they don't remember what life was like before. It was very different. And it goes far, far beyond basketball. I mean, the economy is more diversified. Our population is growing dramatically. Our food scene is on fire. We got James Beard award-winning chefs all over town. We've got, an art scene that's elevated. The downtown is thriving. So it's like what, and I should also add, like we also have the economic wherewithal to work on issues like homelessness and mental health. We're doing things that we couldn't do when we were a much smaller city on every front. So it really is like before and after 2008. And that's why it's been so well received here and why we've been willing to continue investing in it. I think it's interesting contrast, Indianapolis didn't have quite such a dramatic move because the Pacers were an ABA team, and so you sort of like backed into your first major league sports team as they merged with the NBA. And also the NBA and the ABA weren't as big a deal when you first got your team. And obviously when you got the NFL team, I'm sure that was another shift. But you can't quite pinpoint the moment like we can. It was like it was like the world changed in October of 2008, when we got a team permanently. Of course, we hadn't, that's a whole nother story, but we auditioned for a team by hosting the Hornets for 2 years from 05 to 07. But we knew that was temporary. When we really got our own team, that we didn't have to share with anybody else, that was a big moment. And yeah, it's just changed us forever because it's really changed fundamentally our identity. It's not just about like something fun to do 41 nights a year. It's a shift in the way that we see ourselves and the way others see us.
I'm just so impressed with, yeah, you talk about like knowing that exact moment, October 2008, you get a team. And then, like, fast forward, what you were elected, was this 2018 as
Yes.
2018 for your
Hmm.
first term?
Yes.
Youngest mayor since 1923. I've just been so impressed looking at your background and like how you're leaning into social media. Like, I think you have 40 something thousand followers on Instagram. Like, that's super cool as like a younger guy who
Yeah.
gets most of my news and content through social media. To see
Yeah.
someone that's like really leaning into that, I don't know. I just think that's super cool to see you at the helm leading this city. And I loved your bet with Mayor Hogstead. I do need to know about a couple of the things. So one, it was a great like tie into your hosting what whitewater rafting for the Olympics in 2028.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
Right.
so cool. You do have to tell me about Cattleman's Steakhouse. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that like
Madeline.
the spot?
That is, I chose it because it is like 100 years old. It's in our
Okay.
stockyards area, so it's adjacent to where people are actually selling cows.
Wait, like there's an actual stockyard in Oklahoma
Uh-huh.
City?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So Cattleman's is sort of historic. I am sure you could have a whole podcast debate about, what's really the best steakhouse. And some people from your city or people from here who know both places thought, oh, well, really the St. Elmo's of Oklahoma City is this or whatever. You didn't really. I just felt like, in my view, picking the one that seemed to have the most history, sort of iconic. Of course, there's many great steakhouse experiences in Oklahoma City, but I knew you couldn't go. I couldn't go wrong with Cattleman's just because
well,
it's the grand
in
dame of OKC steak.
so in this vein, we got to ask. We have some loyalist listeners that are going out for game 5 in Oklahoma City. So
Okay.
when they're there, okay, we need the recommendation from the from the Oklahoma City guy. What do people need to obviously going to the game, cheering on the Pacers? Where are the places that people need to visit while they're out there?
Things to visit that you should do, even if you only have a day. The Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum. So that's about the April 19th bombing in 1995 that killed 168 of our residents. It's a beautiful memorial. It's a really well done museum. And I recognize, like, how old are you, Nate?
I'm 28.
Right. So you weren't even alive. So this was 30 years ago when this happened. So it's a really important story that I think carries lessons for today. And certainly people like you could certainly benefit from, I think, experiencing that. It was a major historical event when it happened, but the passage of time is relentless. So that would be one thing that's unique. Another thing would be the First Americans Museum. So we're the capital of a state with 39 tribes. That's very much a part of our history and our culture. And so a few years ago, we opened a $200 million museum to Native and Indigenous history and culture, not too far from downtown. And so I would definitely suggest that if you're looking for attractions. And we also have, if you're into Western culture, we also have the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, sometimes locally called the Cowboy Hall of Fame. It's been around for many decades, and it's got all kinds of Western art and all of that. For food, I'll give you categories. I mean, there's like steak, obviously, and there's a lot of great steakhouses downtown. There's Mahogany and Bob's and Mickey Mantle's and Broadway 10 and Red, Stock and Bond. I mean, I could just go on. And of course, Cattleman's over in the stockyards. Food scene that's far more sophisticated. I mean, is like tasting menus, like cutting edge stuff. I mean, you got to Google every ingredient. You have no idea what this is that you're eating. None Such is currently up for a James Beard Award for best restaurant in the country. You can't go wrong there. And then Andrew Black is a chef who has several restaurants in downtown Oklahoma City, who won the James Beard a couple years ago for best chef. So those are some great options. But there's great little neighborhood and entertainment districts around the city, like the Plaza District, the Paseo District, the Western Avenue District. These are all places where you would find great restaurants as well. And I'd also add, we have a thriving Vietnamese immigrant community that came here in the 70s and 80s. So if you like pho, there's like a whole Asian district that's full of all kinds of cool pho places. And then, of course, in downtown, there's an entertainment district adjacent to, real close to the arena, called Bricktown. It's got all kinds of stuff. I mean, you can eat chain restaurants there, or you can get something a little more local, but lots of great food options. And then hopefully they already have their hotels, because that's probably a little difficult right now, but certainly they'll find something. And but like I said, we got 30 hotels downtown now, so it's not as challenging as it would have been in 1991, but you wouldn't have come here in 1991.
Yeah,
So
amen.
um,
That's fair. I kind of have three final pieces, and I know we're getting
yeah.
close on time. First one: when did you guys get the College Softball World Series?
Great question. It was in the 80s that we invested in the stadium and like just slowly built ourselves up as the softball capital of the world. And of course, we're the home of the Hall of Fame. We're the home of the governing body for the United States. We got the World Series in the early 90s, but honestly, at that time, I don't know that it was that in demand. Like I don't think we had to compete too hard. I think the stands were pretty empty in the early 90s. And it was really ESPN highlighting it like it did for so many years that turned it into this amazing event. And we just had record ESPN ratings for the most recently concluded World Series, as well as record attendance. I think 120,000 total people.
Oh,
So it's been an amazing event for us. And it obviously paved the way for us to host the Olympic softball tournament in 2028, which
so cool.
is super cool. So that's been really special, and we're the home of it for 2030 till 2035 at least. We've invested majorly in the stadium, which is the biggest in the world.
I love that. That's really cool. And to like win something, like we're the softball capital of the world. So fun. Uh, Two things for you, like a two-part question here. One,
Yeah.
what is something that Hoosiers need to know about Oklahoma City? And the other part of that is like, what is Oklahoma's impression of Indiana and Indianapolis?
I would hope that being a city like Indianapolis, that, like it or not, people in the coasts probably look down upon just as much as they do Oklahoma City, even though you're a little bigger than us. Um, I would hope that Indianapolis would be open-minded to the idea that, yeah, that OKC's pretty darn big nonetheless, got a lot of cool things going on. I recognize there's maybe not a lot of tickets available, but should another opportunity present itself, or maybe for a regular season game next year, we would certainly love to have some visitors. And I think our impression of Indianapolis is of a city with, again, kind of, as we've already talked about, a lot of similarities to OKC. A little bigger than us, so a little, and had sports teams before us, so like a little ahead of us. But I think a city like ours can look at an Indianapolis and say, hey, like we can absolutely aspire to that. That's where we're heading. And so, yeah, I have a lot of respect for Indianapolis. I think these are cities, like so many others, in the inner part of the United States, that are bigger than they ever get credit for, because so much of this narrative is driven by people in New York and California, and they're actually the most insecure people in the country, because they just constantly have to like puff themselves up and diminish what is happening in the rest of the country. But the reality is there's a lot more of us than there are of them, right? And so, we got to stick together. And I think that Indy and OKC are shining examples of interior cities that are growing, that people are recognizing offer a really high quality of life, generally with a better ease of living and cost of living than they would find elsewhere. And I'd like to think of this NBA Finals as like a little bit of a coming out party for our two cities,
Heck
reminding people
yeah.
that there's a lot to admire about cities such as ours.
I mean, talk about like the biggest shift. We go from playing the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, where like a Pacers fan walking in New York gets like jumped and beat up, right? To then the mayor of Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals writing an op-ed in the Indy Star saying thank you for like helping kickstart this. Like, talk about just like the difference between the coast and the middle of the country. I
Right.
know we're at
I know.
time. Mayor Holt, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I think this is something that makes these middle of the country. A lot of people on the coast like the flyover. It's like, no, come on, take it easy. These like the heart of America, right? Makes it so special. Like you're willing to come on to an all Indiana, all Indianapolis show and tell us a little bit about, Oklahoma City, the history, and just learning about all the crazy cool things you have going on in the future, right? You said 25 more years. Like you guys have like the Thunder are in for the next 25 years.
Yeah, so we'll open our new arena in 28, and then from that point forward, it's 25 years. So it'll be beyond 2050 that we're
Let's
secure.
go.
And I can't wait for you to see the renderings of our arena. You guys have a great arena, but honestly, when you see our new arena, you might say, "Uh-oh, maybe we
Well,
gotta reinvest."
the 25 finals are just the beginning. I can see this is going to be like a middle, like Midwest, from Indiana to Oklahoma. This is the next 10 years. We'll just play each other in the finals. It'll be awesome.
That'd be great. I'm
Uh,
all in on that.
hey, I just want to say as we close out, I appreciate you taking the time, and it's awesome to see again like all the social feedback from the Oklahoma City residents who just rave about you. It was like Mayor Holt needs to run for president, run for governor, run for all these things. Like they like and legitimately today, this is 2025. Nobody hypes up politicians. But like to see that happen for you, I was just like, I had to reach out and see if we could get a conversation. I appreciate it, man. Take it easy. I will say, go Pacers. They got to get the job done.
I understand.
And
That's what you got to
yeah,
do. Yeah, I
that's how it
understand.
goes.
And by the way, I would say so many people sent me your clips. You obviously have a lot of followers, even in Oklahoma City somehow. And when it
Let's
happened,
go.
yeah, no, that was great. Thank you. I'm so glad we connected. Thanks for having me on. And obviously, it's my contractual obligation to end my appearance here by saying Thunder Up.
Thank y'all for listening to that exclusive interview with Mayor David Holt. We will say, go Sirs. We got game 5. We're gonna get the job done. I am joined here in studio with a very, very special guest. I've got the man, the pizza legend, Tommy Barrett. Tommy, what's up, dude?
Hey, thanks, Nate. I appreciate you.
Dude, I'm really pumped. All right, so we're gonna do a little quick segment here because we're talking shop when it comes to pizza. This all starts with a question.
Definitely starts
with a question. The question is, what is the Indianapolis Pizza Festival?
The conjoining of all the pizza in Indiana, and we're trying to find the best. We are finally going to find an answer to all the questions I always ask. Hopefully, after August 9th, we'll find and say, this is the best pizza in
Definitively.
Indiana.
For the next year, the reigning champ.
Yeah. It's like a belt.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so August 9th, it's in a pretty cool venue.
Monument Circle.
Maybe you've heard of that.
Maybe.
People.
Maybe.
How many pizza vendors can we expect?
35 and 40 spots.
35 to 40 spots.
Yeah.
How does it work for patrons?
You buy a ticket, you walk in, and you're in pizza heaven. You just eat as much
Do you have to
pizza
buy
as
the
you want.
pizza when you get in there?
No, it's going to be little sample slices, but what I will allow is like if you really, really like a pizza spot, buy a whole pizza, take it home. Like, because there's going to be 40 spots. You're going to be full after having little samples.
40 sample pieces.
Yeah, like little sample cuts, right? If you really want something, you really want to support somebody's business, then go buy a whole pizza.
I mean, you can't have pizza without some beer, some drinks.
There will be some beer.
What kind of beer, what kind of drinks we talking?
We're talking some good beer, and we're talking something exclusive. I don't know if I'm ready to announce it.
Oh.
We're going to have our own special beer that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know who you also need? They're friends of the show. You actually were, I think you put one in your, what's Gemco?
That is the presenting sponsor of the Indianapolis Pizza Festival.
So there he is, Brand. He knows what he's doing. Shout out Gemco.
Not my first time.
You know another one you might need to talk to? We got beer. You might need some Dad Water there. They're like a big partner of mine. They are awesome Indiana people.
Let's get Dad Water at the festival.
I'll make an intro there. We can make it happen. But the reason I brought Tommy on today is not to just give a subtle shout out to the Indianapolis Pizza Festival, which I will be attending. The reason that Tommy's here is because we're going to give some hot takes. The fun part about this is at Indy Pizza Fest, like the world's going to decide what the best pizza is.
For sure.
But here, we get to decide.
Okay,
We're going to
I'm
do a
ready.
top 3 pizza across the state of Indiana.
Okay.
Where your favorite spots are. We'll give a little 3, 3, 2, 2, 1,
Okay.
1. Maybe some bonus, some shout outs, some honorable mentions. We're talking all things pizza. First, I want to know what goes into like the best pizza for you.
Sauce and dough. right? Like, I'm a big sauce guy. Like, it has to be a little bit sweet, definitely homemade. I think sweetness in a sauce is so important.
Okay.
And then the dough has to be fresh. You can tell right away if you have bad dough, you have bad pizza.
1-1 in the Get In Indy Pizza Fest draft is...
I'm not saying that this is the best pizza in Indiana because there's only one way to find out what the best pizza in Indiana is, and that's August 9th. After saying that, I'll go Futuro.
You motherfucker.
I knew it.
You knew that was my 1-1.
I did.
Yelp voted that second best pizza in the Midwest.
Yelp, we did a nice little giveaway tickets with the Yelp Elites.
Did you?
Yeah.
The Yelp Elite.
Oh, yeah. They wanted me to be an elite. I was like,
They're wild. Shout out to Futuro. It's fire.
Yeah, Luke,
I will
shout out.
say, everyone has to know it's Detroit style.
it is Detroit, but I also like the tavern style, maybe a little bit better.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hot take.
I mean, that is a hot take. The Detroit style, the turbo meter.
Sure. That's why I did 1-1. But
Fire.
like I said, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying that's what I would choose.
They did not win the 574 pizza bracket, but they were the best pizza in there, and it's Venturi.
Okay. I've heard of them.
In Goshen?
Yeah,
Elkhart?
Goshen, Indiana.
Was it Goshen?
I invited them. It's a little tough for them to come, they said.
Venturi Pizza in Goshen, Indiana. This is your formal invitation to join my man Tommy Barrett at the Indianapolis Pizza Festival on August 9th, because I believe I'm taking you with my 1-2.
That's a good pick.
I believe that you have a shot at the title.
Hey.
Best pizza in Indiana.
That's pretty good.
Right back to me, King Dough.
Yeah, I knew
Fire.
that.
You knew that one? I didn't know how many locations does Basbo have.
Too many.
2 minutes. Oh, all right. Oh, all right.
I knew you were going King Dough.
My, what did I be, 2-1
Yeah.
was King Dough. It's fire. It's
Yeah.
really good. And you have to like the fancy pizza.
Reed and team, they're amazing over there at King Dough. Really, really need them at the festival.
We need you. Come on. Who are you taking with 2-2?
2-2. No, don't even have to think about it. Brooklyn Char.
See, he's going to know these boutique
Yeah,
pizza
I
spots.
do.
Where's Brooklyn Char?
Brooklyn Char is like 146 in Gray Road.
Dude, did you just put a video out? And did Mantis also just put a video out with them?
Yeah, we did a little combo.
Oh, you guys were together? Okay. It's like New York style, right?
Yeah.
Fire.
Brooklyn Char. The sauce is wonderful. The style of dough is how I like it in New York.
Yeah.
It's a very good pizza.
Final pick goes to you, because I know you won't pick the one I have.
First pick of the third round, my final choice to complete my goated list already. 1,000 Degree Pizza in Mount Summit, Indiana.
Wow, that's a great pull.
Yeah.
That's a great pull.
Yeah.
They disassembled that brick oven in
It's-
Boston, right?
it's
or like,
really sick.
or they like transported the oven from Boston.
I'm glad you know. That means the respect level I have for you because
Yeah.
you know it is
Well,
high.
you know why I know it?
you're the small
Yes.
city, bro.
I don't know it 'cause
I
of the
know
pizza.
I know you're the town guy.
I know it because it's a
but
small
right
town.
now I'm telling you, my respect level is
There we go.
increased.
We'll take that.
It's a good vibe.
That's a really good pull. They are awesome. It's like this was one of my early videos. I maybe had 10 or 12,000, and I posted a video at Mount Summit, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much!"
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And then I did the research about how they moved
Oh,
that
yeah, I
thing
talked to
from
him for an
Boston.
hour. So my list is goated. You can't beat it. Futuro, Brooklyn Char, 1,000 Degree. You're getting every different kind of za. You got a Detroit style, a Chicago style, a New York style, and then you got a wood fire style. Bro, you're not beating my list.
You did. That's a good list. I'm gonna round mine out. I'm drafting at who's got a shot at the title.
All right.
We're going Bridges.
Oh.
Bridges Pizza.
I don't know anything about Bridges Pizza.
You don't know anything.
I
so
just
Bridges,
found out.
Do you like right now?
Literally, I have no idea what you're
Okay,
talking about.
Bridges Pizza and Wine Bar.
Okay.
This is in Greencastle. I think you got to get them involved.
You want to
Shout
call
out.
him right now?
Yeah, let's call them.
All right, we'll call him.
Hell yeah, this is sick. But they imported this wood-fired pizza oven.
Oh, they're closed, but I'll still call him.
Leave a voicemail.
I will. I'm not joking. I'm calling him.
Yeah.
Dang it.
We're live. Tell them we're live on the air right now when you go
That's
to
what I'm
voicemail.
going
Yeah, yeah. We're not live, but they'll see this on Monday.
100%.
You've reached Bridges Craft Pizza and Wine Bar, located at 19 North Indiana Street, Greencastle, Indiana. Our hours are Tuesday through Saturday,
The
5
oven's from
p.m.
Naples.
till 9 p.m.
Naples.
For reservations, please visit Open Table, or you can leave a message after the
Open
tone.
Table, they're legit.
This guy sounds friendly.
I'm definitely leaving a message.
Are not confirmed until you receive a phone call from one of our staff members. Thank you so much.
Hey, how you doing? This is Tommy Barrett with the Indianapolis Pizza Festival. I'm actually sitting here with Nate Spangle, pretty popular guy down there in Greencastle back in the day. Would love to invite you guys to the Indianapolis Pizza Festival. He says you guys have some of the best pizza in Indiana. I've never tried it. Would love for you to get in contact with me, so just email me at indypizzafest@gmail.com.
Love to have you guys. You were in my top 3 of pizza in the state of Indiana. You'll probably see this clip on Instagram at some point. Love the pizza. I hope you make it to the Indianapolis Pizza Festival on August 9th. We'll see you there.
See you soon. I wasn't lying.
Let's go. We're just ripping cold
I just
calls.
want to make things happen for the city of Indianapolis and the
I
state
love
of
it.
Indiana.
You and I can agree on that. There it is. That's a wrap. Our top 3 pizzas. I will say we did say a couple bonus ones of like quick hitter pizza.
Yep.
Like I do love a Greek's pizza.
I
Like
love
if
Greek's.
if I'm between like Greek's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, like those
Greeks
kinds,
all
it's
day.
Greek's.
If you're in the north side, you're going to Traymore, you're going to Passion, you're going to Greeks right there on 116th Street. And a spot that not a lot of people know about, and it just opened back up after a fire, Pizzaology up on 146 in Hazeldale. Great pizza.
Tommy, thanks for swinging by.
Of course.
Thanks for telling us about Top 3 Pizza. August 9th
August 9th.
on Monument Circle. How much are tickets? Where can we buy tickets?
GA tickets, $30. VIPs, I got a couple left. Just a handful, $75.
What is the VIP get?
You get a little drinks, a little inside stuff, trying different stuff that maybe is not just pizza.
Oh.
And then also just like a VIP tent that you can hang
just
out
like-
with beer and
I mean,
wine and different things like that.
it'll be fun.
And kids tickets 12 and under, $15. It'll be a very family friendly environment.
I think
Live
you're doing-
music, Jay Baker is confirmed. Celebrities coming in, yourself, celebrity judge over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be
Dude,
good.
I appreciate it. I love your passion for Indy. I love your passion for pizza.
For sure.
And the question will be answered. Who's got the best pizza in Indiana?
That's the day we finally decide.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all of my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind the scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.